FilmBusters.
Hello, I'm Paul.
And I'm Ben.
And welcome to FilmBusters.
But wait, where is Adam? There's no Adam.
He is not here. He did not want to be here today.
Adam missed out on a big one because the FilmBusters boys are at
FrightFest. FrightFest
We're here.
2019.
Indeed, the inaugural opening night. How excited are you to be here?
Oh, so excited. This is going to be so good.
There's
So
a lot of
excited
buzz.
to be here with you as well.
Very excited to be here with you. We're both big horror fans as well, so this is very significant that you and I should be here on this opening
Indeed.
night. Why didn't we do this last year?
I don't know. I wish we did. I'm going to do this every year from now on.
Every year from now
I
on.
haven't even started watching the films yet, and I just want to come back already.
There is an energy here, isn't there? There's an energy here. No films have screened. There's a lot of black shirts,
Yeah.
a lot of goth dressed people, death metal looking people.
Death metal. A lot of people dressed up. Someone dressed up as the Exorcist. Someone dressed up as a skeleton.
Yes, I saw the skeleton. He was wearing like a full bodysuit, and he must be hot because it is
so
hot.
hot in here.
So here we are. So it is the opening night of FrightFest. What are we?
Yes.
Thursday night.
This is the Thursday night. Today we're going to see Come to Daddy,
Followed by
Crawl,
ending on.
Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
That's quite a triple bill to open it tonight. It's
know.
going to be a busy night of film.
I'm quite excited for all of them, all three of them.
I'll be honest with you. My excitement levels go down with every film
Okay.
of tonight. So the first film, Come to Daddy, I don't know too much about. So it's a real curveball, so I'm really looking forward to it for that reason.
I think that's the beauty of all three of these films, because actually all the films are really from the whole weekend. I haven't watched any trailers. I don't know really anything about them. So I'm going in fresh, not knowing anything.
The only
And it makes it a
film,
little bit more exciting.
it does make it exciting. I'd heard of Crawl before coming here tonight, and I'd heard of Scary Stories. I had not heard of this Come to Daddy Elijah Wood one.
Yeah.
What do you know about it?
I know nothing.
Well, I'll tell you what I know. It's directed by a man called Ant
Yes.
Timpkins. We better learn his name before we watch the fucking film.
And Michael Smiley.
And where would our viewers know Michael Smiley from?
Oh, very nice. He was in Space.
Good old Tyres.
And Free Fire.
He was in Free Fire.
Yes, very good film.
Anfield in England.
Yes, not very good film.
That's very good. I enjoyed it very much so. Had one of the best scenes in cinema with Reece Shearsmith coming out the tent on a rope.
I didn't even finish it. I got so fed up with it.
Did you not see the scene where Reece Shearsmith gets pulled out of the tent on a rope?
I can't remember. I probably
You would remember it if you saw it.
I don't think I did that.
Genuinely, one of the creepiest moments, spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't seen Field in England, the scene plays out like that weird mushroom trip that it is for about 40 minutes. And then Reece Shearsmith gets dragged into the tent. You don't see what they're doing to him in there, but you hear a lot of screaming and it's horrible, and then it suddenly cuts to him coming out of the tent in super slow motion, and he's got this rope tied around his waist.
Oh my god, I have seen it.
It's a good scene.
Sorry.
You knew as soon as I started talking about it.
I have a recollection of that now.
You have a recollection. So, we're here on the opening night. The crowd's just starting to fill in. You and I feel like we jumped the queue a little bit because there's a big long queue going down the stairs.
We went straight to get our pass, just bypass everyone.
It's all about
Didn't follow the
confidence.
protocol. That's FilmBusters' way.
We don't follow the rules. We don't follow the rules.
We go against the grain.
We do go against the grain. So, as we talk to you, we've actually seen Michael Smiley. He's just popped behind the red rope.
Yes.
I don't even know what Michael Smiley's involvement in the film is. I don't know if it's a big part, a little part, a good guy, a bad guy.
But this is your most anticipated film.
This is my most anticipated film.
Even of the Saturday as well.
I think so.
Of the whole weekend.
So let's talk about the Saturday. What are you looking forward to seeing on Saturday?
On the Saturday, I'm looking forward to seeing Happy Face. That's my most anticipated.
And what do we know of Happy Face?
Nothing.
We know nothing of Happy Face. It's true. We only know that there was an incredibly stressful moment where we didn't think we were going to get any tickets to any of the Discovery
it was
screenings.
Very stressful on that website.
But we think everyone was going through the same thing that we were. Somehow we managed to secure the tickets after about half an hour, and we got everything we wanted. So we're front and centre, front row for that.
That's going to be fun.
It is.
We're going to have, our necks will be hurting, our eyes will be sore,
Yes.
but we will be watching it.
And prior to that, we're already in the front row for another film, Critters Attack.
Oh, beautiful.
Critters Attack.
I've never actually watched a Critters film.
So there's two things you need to know about the Critters film. One, they're like Gremlins, only cuddlier but ruder. Lots of
Right.
swearing. They move super
They
fast.
talk?
Yes, but in a language that I have to subtitle them.
Okay.
and the third one had Leonardo DiCaprio.
Sounds horrendous.
It probably is horrendous, and Critters Attack will lift everything. It will resurrect and breathe new life into the series, I'm sure. What else we got in the morning on Saturday? Our first showing's at 11:30, I think. That Gary Oldman film, Mary.
Oh yes, Mary, which is about a ship.
Ghosts at Sea, lovely.
Yeah.
Very keen to see.
That's all I know about that film.
Yes, me too.
I love that I'm going in like
blind,
fresh-minded and blind.
See, this is the thing, because FrightFest has got so many premieres, you haven't had the chance to see trailers or get a lot of spoiler reaction.
There's minimal like information about these films online.
If anything, the things that I know the most about are Crawl, because how do you hide the fact that it's an alligator movie? It is an alligator.
Yes, it is an alligator movie, yes.
Described by Alan Jones, director of FrightFest, as doing for gators what Jaws did for sharks.
Yes. So it's very exciting.
Oh yes.
One of your most favourite films.
I'm looking forward to that. I'm not looking forward to the last film of the night, I'll be honest.
Scary Stories Telling the Dark.
Yes. I feel like it'll have its moments. I don't think it's going to be very good.
I feel like it's going to have the same kind of tone as It.
I think so.
It's going to be kids like fighting back against monsters.
I get the impression that this is directed more at kids than at adults as well.
Okay.
While we're chatting away, I got distracted by Michael Smiley, of course, who wouldn't?
His lovely smile, Michael Smiley.
Yes. They're now doing big smiles for the press here. There is Paul, one of the main directors of FrightFest, just walked past us with his entourage. And the Soska sisters. With Paul, he's looking very clean shaven today as well. We'll hopefully get some time with Paul later in the festival.
Right, Benjamin, it's almost time to go and see Come to Daddy now, our first film of FrightFest. You getting excited?
I'm getting very excited. Don't know what to expect on
this
one.
I know nothing about it.
I know absolutely nothing about it.
Yes, there should be a little talk from the director and hopefully Michael Smiley as well at the beginning of the film.
That would be excellent. We're going to hear what they've got to say. I mean, I don't know. Do you think this is going to be a comedy? Do you think it's going to be a little bit more serious?
Look, from looking at the pictures, like the limited amount of pictures I've seen, it looks like it's going to be a little bit of comedy.
It does. It looks like offbeat comedy. Like I don't know what I could compare it to that we've already seen. I don't know. But let's just go in and find out, right? So we're going in. We're going to take one for the team and go into the inaugural FrightFest film. Here we go. Come to Daddy.
Let's do it.
Join us after the film. Here we go.
This is a sensitive mic. Gosh.
I'll bring it down.
Gosh. Gosh. Is that how you want to open the night?
I feel like I'm going to go into some sweaty balls.
Some sweaty balls. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 20th Bloody Brilliant FrightFest.
My name is Jen. She's less important. But we're the Soska sisters. It rhymes with ayahuasca, so it's very easy to remember. And definitely try that drug once. And I didn't tell you to.
I'm Sylvia. Don't do drugs, kids. Just once. Just once.
We, 7 years ago, had the world premiere of our film, American Mary, which is a little love letter to body modification. It was the most beautiful experience of my life, which kind of sullied the rest of my film festival 7-year experience.
Yeah, we've never had as good of a screening as we had at FrightFest. So after 7 years of wandering the cinematic desert, we made something we're accepted back. So I hope all of you are coming to see Rabbit on Monday.
You know, I've been to a lot of film festivals, but there really is none like FrightFest. I would say some are a little pretentious.
No.
A little political.
No.
And a little pre-programmed by some douchey buddies. But whatever.
No.
Every film festival works in a certain way. But there is no film festival like FrightFest because of the 4 horsemen of FrightFest. Of course, I'm speaking about the wonderful Alan, Ian, Greg left. No, there's Greg. There's Greg. And Paul. Yes. How often do you not only know the names and see the faces of the festival directors, but they're sitting and talking with you guys, and they're sitting and watching the movies. Usually, I don't even know who runs a film festival, except he'll take one photo with me and then walk away.
Whereas every picture I am in a picture with Paul because he's so wonderful in hospital.
And guys, if you haven't been to FrightFest before, this is your first one. See these guys, say hi to them, hug them. They're really super friendly. And if you're a filmmaker like me, they will grace you with a wonderful career. They have that kind of black magic. I've seen it.
I want to let you know how friendly the different guys are. So you want to know who the most friendly is? If you want to go to the pub, find Alan. No, just kidding. Ian's super extra friendly. He has the biggest smile in the program. No, it's a half sneer.
And I respect that. Even Alan gave a little smile, but Ian's like, you get nothing from me.
And Paul and Greg are completely unapproachable. Don't go near them. Don't ask them for tickets. Don't even say the T word near them, because I think they actually have like a condition now where they just say, it was a website, it's a website.
Thank you so much for coming out to FrightFest. If this is your first FrightFest, you're gonna have the best time of your life. If this is not your first FrightFest, you kind of already know that. If you haven't met us, you can come and say hi to us and talk to us if you feel. But let us introduce the 4 horsemen of FrightFest, without which none of this would be possible. Gentlemen, thank you so much for having us. It's such an honor to be back.
Happy 20th. You guys don't look a day over 19.
Thank you, girls. I'm not going to do the gags that I did next door because they're probably falling a bit flat. But all I need to say here is that 20 years, we can't believe it. I mean, and so many people have been with us for all that particular time. I mean, thanks to people like the Oscars and so many people who can't be here this year, people like Joe Lynch, Adam Green, Barbara Crampton, Larry Fessenden. They've actually built us up into be one of the major film festivals of the world. And, you know, it's thanks to them that we have the global reputation that we do. So thank you very much indeed. Absent friends, we still miss Toby Hooper, we still miss George Romero a hell of a lot. I always break up at that bit, I don't know why, but I always do. I mean, it's funny, because he was so important to us, wasn't he? He was, but you've got some great guests. You're going to see everybody here who's figured in our last 20 years quite a lot, I think. So have a good time, and on with the show, once these 3 have said their bit.
Got a microphone on. I'm fine, thank you. By the way, Stuart, hello Stuart, how are you doing up there? Yeah, right at the back. Right at the back. Behave up there. No snogging in the back row, please.
Is that it?
Is that it?
Well, I just want to reiterate what the sentiment Alan used, where it's just such a wonderful time for me every year, and the passion just gets bigger and bigger. And my son's now nearly 15, and he's contagious. He kind of wants to be here as well. And I think that's what FrightFest is. It's us all passionately wanting to come back year after year, telling people about it. Thanks for doing my job. You know, PRing FrightFest is one of the easiest jobs in the world, because all you guys just make it so much easier by spreading the word so madly and wildly. So thank you for that.
It's come to daddy time! Out of all the films we're screening this weekend, 78 premieres. This is one of my absolute favourites, so much so that this film will be coming out on the FrightFest Presents label next year in association with Signature in Q1. So you guys are in for a very early, absolute treat. It's the directorial debut by one of my oldest and dearest friends. He was here many, many years ago with The Devil Dared Me Too, but when we were down at the Odeon West End. And also he's produced a bunch of movies that we screened at FrightFest over the years. Turbo Kid, ABCs of Death, Deathgasm. Please welcome Mr. Ann Simpson!
Hello. Thank you. Look, this is a really special night for myself, but also for everyone who worked on the film. It was a crazy journey. It started with a death of someone who was very close to me, and it ended up being a very cathartic, beautiful experience, which we're going to be doing a Q&A after the film, and I'll get into the nitty-gritty of where it all came from. But I just want to thank Signature for believing in the film and buying it for the UK, but also most of all for the FrightFest gang for programming it and supporting the film from day one. To have the film in FrightFest was like a treat, but to have it as the opening night film is just mind-blowing. So I'm just so happy to be here. I hope you guys really, really like the film. I'm not going to wrap it on anymore. I want to bring out someone who I have fallen in love with, Mr. Michael Smiley. Who
Welcome back to FrightFest. He was here with Kill List. Michael Smiley!
Thank you, Ant. Hello everyone, how are you? Yeah, it's been, the last time I was here was 2011 with Kill List. And so to come back with this film, I'm really chuffed. I've
got a lovely little part in it, playing a character called Jethro. So if you haven't seen it, watch out for Jethro. Actually, do watch out for Jethro.
You might not recognise him, but
it was a real joy to dress up every morning like Jethro. We've done a lot of night shoots, so we shot it in Vancouver Island, and I flew over. I was jet lagged the whole time because jet lag and night shoots work perfectly well together. So when you see me go a little bit mental on screen, that's the fucking jet lag. That's not RADA, that's jet lag. So no, I loved it. It was an absolute joy. I really loved working with all these guys. You know, and really got together a fantastic crew of people. All the crew were just bang on it, and also so hilarious too. So you turned up and they were like new friends. And part of the reason I love being an actor is I'm a big kid. I just love dressing up and pretending and hanging out with other fucking grown-up kids. So it was a real joy to do, you know, and that's the great thing about horror, I think, of all the dressing up and pretending, this genre really takes it to the nth degree. So this was a joy and a real privilege to work on. And you know, we're getting married. I haven't told my wife yet. But, me and Andrew we're gonna run for I think Prime Minister in New Zealand. That'd be a good one, just two.
it's going to be a hard one to get past, but yeah,
I don't know.
we've got a good one at the moment. So
I don't know. We'll see. God loves a trier.
should we call it?
Yes, we really hope you enjoy the film.
Right, we've just come out of Come to Daddy.
Just come out of Come to Daddy. So do you want to just explain the plot to Come to Daddy first?
Okay, let's try and get this plot down. So basically, Elijah Wood, who plays, what's his name?
He plays. Do we know his name in it?
Yes, he's got a weird name.
He does, and I've forgotten it entirely. What was it?
Stop.
What was it called?
Something good then?
Norville.
Norville? Is it Norville?
Or Norbert. One of the two. Norville. It was Norville.
Was it Norville?
Yeah, it was. Norville.
Okay. Well, Norville.
That's 30 seconds before guessing what his name was.
He gets a letter from his father telling him to come and meet him in his isolated house.
Yes.
That's by the sea. Very lovely.
And he doesn't know why he sent him the letter.
No, doesn't know why he sent the letter. Hasn't seen this man since like he was 5 years old.
That's right.
And basically, the film unfolds from this situation, and we learn the reasons.
Or do we? Why
he sent this
was invited
letter
by his father? Yes. The
Or
reasons why his
do
father
we?
sent the letter. Or do we? Yeah. So basically, letters were sent. We don't know who sent them. We don't know why. Or maybe we learn out. Maybe we learn during the film why the letters were sent and by who and for what purpose. Yes, there we go. Very good.
I was on the set of The Perished, which is an Irish movie which we're going to be screening, world premiering, I think it's on Monday or something. And I was on the way back from Ireland, and Ant was in post-production on this, and he's like, fuck, if you're in Ireland, come. And I'm like, I'm over the other side of Ireland, blah, blah, blah. And so, Ant, as soon as the film was finished, he sent me the link to the car, and I absolutely fell in love with it. So please welcome Mr. Ant Timpson. And the microphones are working in this one. Next door, the mics were fucked. And if Michael Smiley is still here, because he didn't turn up, I think he was in here watching the film because he'd not seen it, he didn't turn up in the Q&A for that. So if Michael's here, bring him down. But if not, fire away, Ant.
He bailed. Oh, it's not a good sign.
Perhaps he hated it. It's like, oh, fucking don't fucking do that.
Thank you for that Dublin anecdote too. That's one for the ages. It was good.
All right, you come. Actually, I swear.
So yeah, I don't. There's a crazy background to this film. There's a writer in the room too, Mr. Toby Harvard. Please give a round of applause. He's a bit shy.
Yes.
But he wrote a fantastic script.
And he wrote The Greasy Strangler, and the director of The Greasy Strangler is right there as well, Jim Hoskins.
Greasy. So the whole film came about, for people who've already heard this story about background, I apologise, but just quickly, My dear dad carked it in front of me, which was very traumatic, and his partner at the time thought it would be really good to embalm the body and bring his corpse back to the house so we could have this sort of grieving process. And it was weird from the start because her ex-husband was the mortician as well, who was Dad's best friend. So it was kind of fucked straight away. I was not in a good headspace. I had issues already before the body turned up. So I spent a week with him and my siblings. We sort of hung around, and it was very beautiful. We all talked about, reminisced about Dad. It was wonderful. But at night, I was the only one really in the house. So I used to wander around and go down and talk. Didn't talk, went down, looked at Dad, and you see on the movies and TV, like, you got to get everything off your chest to your dad. But I just went down, and he just looked like Stephen McHattie in the film. It was just terrifying. I was like, ugh, and freaked out. And then over the course of time, during the week, he was like wearing his clothes and smelling him, and just sort of pretty much going the full Texas Chainsaw, wearing the skin kind of sort of vibe, because Dad had a very twisted sense of gallows humor, and I could sort of feel him enjoying my whole awkwardness about not being able to get things off my chest, which is the whole foundation of the film, about these unanswered questions that we have with our parents. So I went through this thing. It was beautiful in the end. I'm just so happy it happened, but it was deeply traumatic. And I remember sort of having this moment when during the week there was people coming to pay respects to him, and there were like family, friends and relatives and all the people who I didn't want to hear of. But you go through the process of like, yeah, tell me a story, an anecdote about your dad, and it's shit you've heard 100 times. But then there were people that had these stories about him it felt like a complete alternate history of my dad. Like, it was like, oh, did I really know him? Like, I didn't know anything about that part of his life. And so in my twisted way, when I was analysing the whole thing down the line and just sort of dealing with everything, I was like thinking like, what if I created something that would be, I want to make a film because I felt like life's short. I just watched him cark it in front of me. I started off as a filmmaker and then had this huge lapse and never got back into it. So I just suddenly felt like, man, this is running out. I should really do something. And I wrote to Toby and I said, what about this skeleton idea of like of spending time with the corpse and making something like a little weird horror film, super lo-fi, something we could shoot in the house and get it done, and I'd pull favors. And then Toby went away and came back with an incredibly crazy script that was wild, and I was like kind of like in shock, because it was like I was still sort of deeply affected by death. I was like, this is fucking nuts. What's this got to do with any of it? But then I just started falling in love with it, and then we sort of bounced back, and it took a long time, like a good, I don't know, it feels like 18 months. But the first draft, he knocked it out in like 3 weeks. It was pretty great. And then it went through a whole process of just coming up with more and more ideas, and the whole idea was like to keep the audience unaware of which way it was going to go, and chicane. Sorry, this is the longest preamble.
And I'm going to throw it to you in just a second. I was just about to ask you about the casting, and I just suddenly saw Mr. Michael Smiley in the corner of my eye. Please welcome Michael. Amazing in the film, by the way, sir. So the first question for you is, what did you think?
Oh, it was brilliant. It was brilliant. Because that's the first I've seen it. I've seen a wee bit of, we've done a bit of ADR, but not much. ADR, if anybody doesn't know, it's when you drop new vocals onto like a track that's, maybe it's recorded and the bus goes past or something, and you come back in and you drop new lines on it. But so that was the first time I've seen it, and I fucking loved it.
Thank God.
So, but as an actor, you want every now and again you don't always get iconic parts, but like from playing tires in space, my first part, to this, I think there's a lineage there. I can see tires. The drugs got a wee bit too much for tires. And he melded into Jethro. So I can see Jethro's tires creepy uncle. But, no, I loved it. I remember the scene of my final scene, walking down the street, was my first scene that was shot. And that was just traumatic because it just flying all the way over there and then being jet lagged and effectively starting the next day and walking down that street at night time. And it was just, there must have been 70 people in the street coming along to go up. So you just did this fucking zombie thing and you can see people in the corner.
It was a hell night that night. That was tough.
Yeah,
yeah, a lot of things to wrangle. But I remember it was going to be a lot of fun with Michael because when I first met him, he turns up and he had a pair of false teeth that he was carrying, as he does, carrying with him. He goes, "What do you think of these?" And shoves them in. I was like, "Oh fuck, this is going to be fun. Yeah. This is brilliant."
I'd done a job just before that. It was a thing called Death and Nightingales for the BBC, a 3-part thing, where I played this mute idiot type character. And they made me a pair of fucking teeth, those teeth. So I was like, well, can I have them? Because it's not like you're going to give them to anybody else. You know? Yeah, you can have them. So I knew I was coming over because they'd sent me photographs of how you envisioned Jethro. And I went, yes, up the sleeve. So we got the gear on. I went, well, what about this? And I put the glass on, came back with the teeth. Oh, yeah, mate! Fucking yeah.
Exactly how I said it.
That's exactly how I said it. That is Kiwi for the affirmative when you meet it. It's
and you made the wig, you sold the wig so well.
Yeah, the whole doing that I quite liked. It was a bit sort of like a Ken Dodd on a witness protection scheme. Nancy Dodd.
So, is there a roving microphone in here? If not, is there or not? No. Okay, so, Ant, you choose. Remember, T-shirt if you ask a good question. You can ask someone at the top or down here.
Oh,
Your choice.
They don't even put their hand up. I just point at someone, so you ask a question.
You ask question now.
Awesome.
Where's the toilets?
No, is there any questions? Yes, in the red. Ooh.
So, I really love films that go stark staring mad, and this really feels like it goes crazy. Did you do anything to sort of distinguish that second half from the initial, because they feel quite different?
The question was, were we worried about the change of tone from the first half to the second half? Did we do anything?
How did you create that?
How do we create? Well, it's the script. It is the script. But I mean, it was always going to be a concern of like tonally, it does ride a really fine line, and it's you can sort of easily derail things if you don't keep it consistent, and that's where the brilliance of Elijah comes in to ground everything, because he goes through such a huge range, but you go along with the ride, because even though things start getting more hysterical and crazy, there's been so much groundwork laid by him, so much beautiful nuanced work that I feel like all those big shifts kind of work, and we hold it together. Well, I hope we do. I feel like we do.
She's got one!
I'm going to let Michael choose. Yes.
You! Could you project yourself, darling? Really use the diaphragm. Bring it up from here, out from the mouth, and really enunciate. And any other different endings that we could have thought of? Well, there was the tap dancing.
There was Jethro coming back at the end like Jason.
Yeah.
And Toby, did you have any other alternate endings? No.
Short answer is no. Thanks, Toby.
No.
No, the ending, that ending was pretty much locked in. I wanted that. I definitely had that sort of imagery in my head of how I wanted it to play out, and sort of, they kind of like become very similar in terms of the whole framing composition of how the father and son earlier on, how he slowly becomes more like his dad. So it kind of needed to play into that at the very, very end.
Weird thing, weird post note, side note, note, left there we go, was you've done now, you're dead. Yeah. Okay, and sleep. Then, unbelievable, you give people fucking a platform. Martin, I've worked with Martin Donovan since. So yeah, and we worked together in a series in Ireland, and he sends his love, and Martin Donovan is a brilliant, brilliant actor and a very, very, very funny and fucking angry man. Him and I walked around Dublin just talking the biggest load of shite for weeks. I fell in love with him. I think he's great. You wanted to ask a question and then you bottled it, and now I'm forcing you to say something really brilliant now, because everybody's watching. Everybody look at her. Okay, go ahead. Question for me.
Did you have any kind of input into the script? Because Michael Heseltine is pretty impressive.
No, Michael Heseltine is in the script. I pissed myself when I read it. Yeah, me neither. Tonight my wife is sitting beside me and she just fucking howled at the Michael Heseltine.
Yeah, so it's set in Oregon, but we had to shoot the film in Canada because of just how the structure of the film was a Canadian, Irish, New Zealand co-production, and you had to do a bit of everything in each territory. So the shoot was in Canada, and it just felt really similar to the coastline that I originally really loved, which was around Astoria in Oregon. So it was very similar to that, and also similar to New Zealand. A lot of people think it's shot in New Zealand actually, because it's very similar on certain coastlines. But the house itself was like, once we saw the house, I was like, that's got to be the place. It just fits everything we need. And then once we locked it, I sent photos and described it to Toby and said, let's tweak the script to match. So that's why there's particular sort of references to the UFO and other sort of, just the way the geography of the house plays into it a lot. It was just because we knew it inside and out and had the luxury of tweaking it. So it was great. Good, amazing location.
Madhouse, isn't it? Madhouse, real. It's fucking real too.
Two more? Yes, sir.
Hey.
Hello.
The book that Elijah is reading, was there any significance to that in relation to the story?
That's a private joke. Is there any reference to the reason for the Celestine prophecy? Yes, there is, but it's not something we're going to talk about.
Ooh, mysterious. Don't get him more mysterious.
If you'd like to choose the final one, Michael, from Apple.
I shouted at him, so I've got to get you back in again. But fucking make it good, don't let me down.
We'll make it a good one, otherwise we'll see you outside.
Congratulations. I love the film. And I have two questions. One, what was your process in working with the actor in terms of rehearsal?
All films are hard, like literally, but yeah, we had no luxury of rehearsal time. It was like I basically met Michael on set nearly. It felt that tight. We had like a phone call, something prior to that. But everything, when I talked to the actors, the whole thing was like, we're going to play this dead straight. Things are funny, we don't need to spell it out, was kind of like the driving force of the film.
Yeah, you got me to turn it down quite a bit, like, that's quite, because once I got the clothes on, I just thought, fuck, I'm going for this is going to be brilliant. And he was like, Michael, just a wee bit less, just a wee bit. I was like, fuck, what about this bit? He went, no, just turn it down, I like it. But so, that trial and error bit instead of rehearsal, if you're allowed to run with it, then, it's your vision, so it's always going to be up or down or bring it, so that, I really like that too, because you've got license to be who you want to be, but also just you can temper it by, turn it to 7, bring it down to 5. That's what
and he's got to be kind of fucking scary, and at times you got to feel like tension from him, and if he's too big, we would have maybe lost that. But I also remember talking with Toby about your character and saying like, well, I think I told you as well, like he's obsessed with villains in films, like maybe he loved those types of characters as well, so that's why there's a bit of theatre to him as well. So he's like, he enjoys his work.
Yeah,
he loves
that was with the female wrestler in the motel. That was hot. I don't mean that in the American sense. I mean that in the sense of it was really just fucking hot in that little room. There was loads of us in there, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And there was no air conditioning. And I was sweating.
That's where the crew slept, actually, in that swingers room. Yeah, where it doubled up.
Yeah. So that room that we were getting all weird in was where people slept that night. The crew. That crew fucking was unbelievable. They were unbelievable, man.
Yeah. And kudos to our naked swinger with his pain. He was very, he's actually a really good actor, and I felt really horrible that all he did was lay there with his Johnny out.
And also in his defence, he was really nervous because his penis is normally bigger than that.
He said he's a grower. Yeah, he's a grower.
Oh yeah, when he fluffed it earlier on, man, it was like he's being attacked by an anaconda.
Oh, we just got
as soon as you put the camera on it, it went down to it went to mushroom in a wink of an eye. In a wink of his one good eye. Tough crowd.
Right, I've had the cue from Alan. We've got to leave. That was Come Steady. These guys have been a weekend. I hope you enjoyed it. Come Steady, thank you, Alan. Thank you, Michael. It's coming out next year from FrightFest Presents with Signature. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Okay, first things first. Score.
Yes,
immediate reaction. Score.
Okay, who's going to go first?
I'll go first.
Cool.
7.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I'm going to give it an 8.
Okay.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. I was even going like, maybe this is a 9 at some point.
So I'll tell you this much. The first, so preface this, we're not going to spoil it for anyone, so we won't go into too many details. But the first 20 minutes, that was the film I wanted to keep watching.
Fantastic. That was when I was thinking this could be a 9.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking this is absolutely brilliant. This bit.
I would have gone with you. Yeah. If it had kept up that momentum, I don't know the name of the actor who's in the first 20 minutes, but the tension between them and the conversation and the dialogue between them was brilliant.
Yeah. So funny, but so sinister.
Funny in a really weird way.
Yeah.
It wasn't like obvious jokes. It was like there's a whole thing about rats up your vagina and cunt, and it was just so fucking funny.
there's one line, and they will find a skeleton in your pelvic bone of a rat skeleton in your pelvic bone. Oh, brilliant!
But now, it is a film of two halves. Someone asked the question at the end there about what was it? Why did you go for the tonal shift? But it is because like the first half is definitely more like almost like, I don't know, haunted house type film in a weird way with a twist, and then it becomes something more like, I don't know. How would you even describe the second half?
There's a lot of like tones in this film, especially like and then the ending scene, the tone of that scene, it's very like heartfelt and like there's no comedy,
and also I don't know. I need to think about it, but I'm not entirely sure what it was trying to say. And I'll tell you this much. It was clearly trying to say something, and only when Ant Timpson came on stage afterwards and spoke about what actually happened in his own personal life that influenced it did I think, okay, I understand a little bit of what you're getting at, what you're trying to work through. But here's the other thing. Michael Smiley.
Yep.
Great character.
Yep.
Wrong film.
Oh really?
I didn't think he belonged in that film.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It was almost like his character was too comedy. It was almost too comedy.
It was
the actual tone.
Too much.
Yeah, too much. I did enjoy him though. I enjoyed him in the film. But I enjoyed the daddy more. I can't remember what the actor's name is.
The main daddy.
Elijah Wood's daddy.
Elijah Wood's daddy, the first daddy. There are many daddies.
There are many daddies in this film, but the first daddy in Come to Daddy is the best daddy. He was brilliant.
He was so brilliant. It was so brilliant, and the tension was ratcheted up even more when he was speaking about Elton John, and then the screen just cut out for everyone in there.
Our screen cut out like 15-20 minutes into the film. Was it even that much?
It was about 15-20 minutes. It was enough that it had just got its hooks into us because we were like, oh, we want to know where this conversation's going. And then it went black. But then, when it came back on and the scene played out and they were talking, I thought, how cool would it be if the dad just broke the fourth wall and went, you know when the screen went black a minute ago, how clever would that be?
Yeah, that would be really clever.
Happened, I'll be like, what have we got
And we're
here?
waiting there for like just a black screen, that black screen in part of the screen.
Can you imagine that on like DVD, Blu-ray release? People at home going, what's going on here? People would be pausing.
That gives us an idea now. That is an idea for a film. That is a good idea for a film.
So who would you recommend this film for? If you enjoyed what film would you like this film, would you say?
Okay, so watching it, there was a lot of like the feel of like from Maniac with Elijah Wood. I got that kind of feeling.
Yes.
Yeah. But obviously it's not as there's a lot more comedy.
Yeah, there was comedy.
What kind of comedy?
The comedy was missing for like 10 minutes, and then it came back.
It kept like jumping in and out. That's a strange thing.
Dead End in a weird way. You know Dead End?
I've seen it a long time ago, but I can't remember it.
It's got that kind of weird bit of comedy in with the horrific. Visually, it was very, very cool. The house, which is like the house that my daddy lives in, it is like a UFO.
Yeah.
It really was like a UFO, and it had like secret compartments and shit. And do you know what? The second daddy, the daddy downstairs, daddy downstairs was in this really
No
shit film.
spoilers.
No spoilers. There's no spoilers. People go, daddy downstairs. Daddy downstairs was in this really shit film I watched last week, and I can't remember what it was called. The Quiet. And he played a dad that was having sex with his daughter constantly.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely constantly. It was really bad. So I was glad to see he upped his game for this one.
But overall, I quite enjoyed it. I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Yeah, great opener for FrightFest, and it was the second half was what brought the film down.
Yes,
it was. It did become. I feel like it didn't know. What
sort of tone it wanted to go for. That's why it was a hodgepodge. That's why you can see the true story was the genesis for the original idea.
Yeah.
So that's why that feels concrete. And then it's like, how can we add to this? How can we make this more of a caper? And that's where it goes a bit too batshit crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's such a quick turnaround. Crawl is about to begin in 2 minutes, so I think we better wrap this up.
We have to get into Crawl,
get
guys.
to our seats. So, any more thoughts, or shall we just?
I think we've got to get into Crawl.
We got to get into Crawl. So, we're not even the time for the toilet. I need a wee, but I'm going to have to hold it for 2 hours.
We'll see you on the other side, I guess.
We'll see you on the other side. In we go to Crawl, which I'm very much looking forward to after that one.
Yes, definitely. Different kind of tone.
Let's do this alligator
Let's do
movie.
it. Right, everyone, we've just come out of Crawl. Literally just come out.
And what do you have to say?
What do we have to say about this film? Right, first we can talk about the plot. Let's just describe the plot to our listeners.
The plot is, in Florida, there's a terrible hurricane near an alligator farm, and all the water comes and fills up a house, and a very good swimmer goes to find her dad.
Yes.
And when she finds him, he's in the basement of the house.
In the crawl space.
In the crawl space under the
Hence
house.
the name.
For some reason, he was down there, and a gator got him. And then lots of gators come.
And that is the film.
That's the film.
Come back to the stage, please, with Alexandra Ayar and Kaya Scodelario. Hey guys. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed putting it on for you. So that's good. Yeah?
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Do you like it, Mum? Mum, do you like it?
Where's your mother? Oh. Well, there you go. No more reviews necessary. Kaya's mother loved it. So listen, you shot in Serbia, and you actually built how many sets?
We built a lot of sets, but we built 7 tanks. You know, to have every part of the house, from the crawl space to the nest, to the ground floor, to the first floor, to the rooftop. I mean, every single piece of the movie is on stage with a, you know, like a giant blue screen above. We couldn't shoot the movie in an actual hurricane or in Florida because of the tree and the wind and everything. So we had to find like the place on Earth where we could find the biggest warehouse possible to build this giant set.
Right. And Kaya, I mean, it obviously was very intensive from a physical point of view. I mean, when you read the script going in, do you think, oh, you know, or wow, this is great?
No. I read it twice. I read it once to assess the character and the story, and then I read it the second time to assess whether I physically wanted to put myself through it. And I still didn't know after the second time. And I sent it to my friend Hannah, and she told me I should do it because it was amazing. And then I kind of had this moment where I told myself that I wanted to fucking prove to myself that I could do it. I kind of got angry that I was even afraid of it. And I wanted to throw myself into it head first, and I knew it was going to beat me up, and it was a hell of a lot worse than I could have ever imagined. But we got through it, we're here, it's all good.
Yeah.
And were there any actual alligators, or was it men in green suits? What was it?
It was men in very fetching, lycra, skin-tight green condom outfits. That was terrifying.
They were really scary. I mean,
Well, they were worse than the
very
alligator.
Yes, somehow it was worse, and like sometimes it was also that giant
A pillow,
ball with
yeah.
like that styrofoam.
You did
green
it once.
hat.
You were the alligator once.
Oh yeah,
I remember. Yeah.
You were the alligator.
Yeah.
Yes.
Does he make a good alligator?
Very good. Do the sound.
Yeah, it's, like, it's the French thing.
French
A French
it's like
alligator.
the Lacoste.
Oh, Lacoste. Excellent. I mean, Kai, as I said in the other screen, this is your first genre movie. I mean, did you have a good time? And was it what you expected? I mean,
I did. The best part of it has been seeing people's reactions. Like, it's so wonderful to be part of something that people watch and instantly have a strong reaction to. You know, I believe cinema and movies should leave. You should leave feeling something, whether it's good or bad or an opinion. You should cost you something in a way. And this really does. You see people's adrenaline spike. You see them jump and scream and laugh. And that's really amazing to watch. That's kind of direct satisfaction of entertainment. And that's really, really cool.
I mean, for me, one of the key things about the movie is the scope. I mean, it's not small. It feels big. I mean, was that always part of the vision?
You know, I received the script and I didn't read it right away, but I fell in love with the log line, that short synopsis right away. That story was so simple and straightforward. And then in a few days before I read the script, I kept like fantasizing about what I would like to see and the scope. And when I read the script was way smaller. And so my work as a writer and the director was to, like come in and just push, like the wall to make it about like one location, but that location was the storm, and that ticking clock of the water coming up from the crawl space to the rooftop was a very important element to the story.
I thought after Piranha 3D you'd never work with water again.
Yes, and I completely forgot. I took a note somewhere after Piranha, like don't work with water anymore. And in fact, I went back and it was even more difficult and worse than the first time. So I will try to stay on dry land for a few years.
Last question for me before I hand over to you. Sam Raimi is the producer, of course. I mean, a mega star in our area. I mean, how was he like as your producer?
He's a great guy. He's very, he's the producer that you dream to have as a director, because he's here to understand and help you defend your vision. And for that type of movie, even if they feel very obvious and straightforward, they will a lot of fight about like how much of the alligator are we going to show, how much of the drama we're going to keep, how much, like all this element. And to have someone like Sam by your side, helping you defend your vision, it's just making a huge difference.
Kai, would you do a sequel? Let's be honest, there's little baby alligators in there somewhere. We didn't see them actually sort of like come out, but do you feel that you could go back in the water?
Yeah, if I'm like the mother alligator that they follow around and I teach them the ways. It's quite nice, yeah. No, I wouldn't. I'm not going to lie. I love you, but no.
Come on. Let's just give it a few months.
Right, over to you. Win some freebies. Yes, sir. Was 3D an option? It's a movie crying out for 3D.
Yes, it was in my head always a 3D movie, and I still, think about it as a 3D movie. It's like I as a filmmaker, I'm trying to do a very immersive story, and any kind of technique that help like the 3D is always welcome. We decided to not do 3D because 3D is kind of not really in the
thing anymore.
Yes. Exactly.
Okay.
But like we try to make it, and the way we shot the movie, I think, is a very three-dimensional type of experience.
And you did it with Piranha already, anyway, didn't you?
So yeah, it was not only a decision, but it was what really attracted me to the project. The idea of a home invasion movie where instead of having killers and an entity coming inside your house, it will be nature itself as a disaster coming inside your own place, and not coming alone, coming with a few guests and your very old neighbors that are like really nasty and who really want to have a bite of you.
What were your key inspirations for the film? I noticed the underwater tracking shots had some Jaws feel to it, but what other works did went through your mind when you were planning the film?
I was very reluctant to do those underwater POV shots because they have so much, link to Jaws, and also because with the second eye lead, alligators are really, not great vision underwater. They see very blurry. Yes, yes, they see, but they just see some kind of lighting. But then in the editing, you discover that it's really helped, and there is a good reason why it's been used in Jaws. So, but the other inspiration, we were talking earlier on about, Alien, the original Ridley Scott movie, is definitely one movie that I kept in mind. The other one is a movie I grew up with that I absolutely love and that I rediscovered recently. That right before making the movie, it's Cujo, and Cujo has this kind of great balance between drama and survival, and I thought was a really kind of a great template for Crawl as well.
Did you watch the Lewis Teague movie? Do you remember Alligator itself back in?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, like the Lewis. Yeah. I mean, yes, but I mean, the visual effects.
Right.
Saying it's so over the top. When Cujo, in fact, didn't really age and still very efficient.
Mm. So, Kai, you had a problem with some of the water in the. I believe.
Tell the people.
You've got to tell that story. You'll love this story, guys.
Pressure. As Alex was explaining, we built the sets practically in tanks, and we would slowly fill them up over time. And on day one, it would be kind of ankle deep, and everyone would be kicking around, and it'd be quite fun and strange. And then by the end of the shoot, everyone was in wetsuits, swimming to work. And I remember one day, it was like a really, really long day. Everyone was really tired. We'd been shooting back to back. And we had a minute to rest, and by rest I mean just float. And there was like 35 members of crew just sort of floating around, and everyone's face kind of relaxed at the same time. And I felt the water get warmer. I literally felt everyone pee around me. Because there was no time. He wouldn't give us time to pee, so we had to pee in the pool.
We are like brief every morning, like don't pee in the pool.
Aren't there these things you can get to sort of like strap on your legs and stuff, and fine.
Yes.
Anyway, too much detail.
Rashes. They'd get rashes, and they'd go, "I've got this funny rash," and they'd be like,
"Yes,
did you
like
pee
stop
in
being
the
in your wetsuit."
What's your favourite way to kill people on film? Animals, mutants, humans? What would you go for? What's your number one?
Well, there is so many ways to die. I mean, it's like, I don't know. I mean, I don't enjoy killing people that much, but I do have that kind of thing about imagining the worst. And when I start writing or working on a project, those kind of ideas of how to, make people die come very naturally to me. So I don't have like a preference. It's coming every season with a different type of killing device.
Does it actually also affect limiting the shooting? Because also people get wrinkled skin and cold.
Right.
Does it affect how you can film each day? Does it actually kind of impact?
Supposed to, but we just kept going.
Does filming in the water actually affect the shooting, like wrinkly skin and stuff like that?
I mean, we had to shoot 12 hours a day, and you're not supposed to stay 12 hours in water, no matter what. Even if the water is warm, it doesn't. It's getting cold at some point, and also the rain, the constant rain, was very cold, and the wind. I mean, I cannot be more grateful to Kaya and Barry and the crew, because to be there and to survive the shoots was, something. Our character is surviving one day, like we shot 40 days.
I mean, you worked with Barry before in The Maze Runner. I mean, was that part of the reason why you chose Barry and Kaya again, or?
No, I mean, we were looking for, someone to, it's hard because it's a character that needs to be safe, and someone that was, in distress, but also in a dark place in his life. And we were looking into someone who could bring this, kind of gravitas, but also will not, try. And it was interesting the way Barry came on, on board with this adventure and kind of brought his own personal, personality to it. And he's very alpha, in his behaving. And So for him, it was, even if the script was pretty clear that it was about, his daughter saving him, he was like, no, I have to do this and I have to do this. But no, your leg is broken. and it was really interesting to see that dynamic that was feeding exactly the character, in fact. So that was very, I think, interesting to see the two of you even getting to that relationship.
Yeah, it was interesting. He did have a hard time with letting me be the kind of protector, and I think that's great. I think we've explored the theme of that in this movie. She just so happens to be a woman. And for Barry, that was kind of a bit of a speed bump, and I got to talk to him about it, and I sat him down one day, and I was like, look, this is Hayley's story. She's going to save you, and you're going to fucking deal with it. And he got it in the end. It took a while, but it was really interesting that he brought that into the character, and it was perfect for it, because the tension really was there. We kind of both felt like, well, I'm going to save you whether you like it or not. And that kind of really worked for them.
Well, listen, for me, that was the film of the summer. I thought it was great. I hope you wish you well. I'm so glad you enjoyed it. Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Kaya. Thank you, everyone.
So, you must go first.
Okay.
What did you think of this monster feature?
Okay, this monster feature gets a monster rating of 4 out of 10.
Oh, wow! You are much harsher than me, son. Wow. So, wow, that's hard.
Go on, give me your rating and then we'll talk about it.
Now you make me doubt myself, but I upgraded to 6.
Oh, did you?
5 for a long time.
Oh, really? I wasn't 5 as well.
Interesting. So I hated it from like the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And then for the first half an hour, I thought this is so boring as well. And you revealed the clock straight away.
Totally.
It's not that big.
Yep, straight away you see it.
Straight away you see it. And we're trying not to do no spoilers here, so but
no
that's
spoilers.
not really that much of a spoiler.
You're going to see a crocodile.
You're going to see a
Sorry, an alligator.
Yeah, you see the gator. And then while they're in that crawl space, the dialogue is shit. The whole plot is shit. The graphics are awful. Really bad.
Yeah.
Really fucking
Even
bad.
the hurricane's really bad.
The hurricane's really bad. It feels like green screen.
Yep.
But then, you know what? Where it got good is when the water level rose. Because for a long while, there's no real water level.
Yeah.
And then it's low, and it's like you just see crocs walking about. It's like, that's ain't scary.
Exactly. I thought this whole thing was going to be submerged in water.
So,
yeah.
So that's why the final act of the film, where water really comes into play and everything's hidden.
So your rating rose with the water, did it?
It rose with the water. So I was on 5 for a long while, and then as the water rose, the rating rose, but the acting levels did not raise at any point, did they?
No.
They were quite appalling.
See, I have many issues with this film. So firstly, they were very restricted with what they could do with this film because they were restricted in a house behind some pipes.
Yes.
Okay. So all they were doing was swimming between these pipes for pretty much 3/4 of the film.
That was dull, man.
Yeah, so dull. And
it
then
was bricks. It was like basically filming someone against bricks and a bit of water around their waist.
Pretty much.
Yes.
And then, okay, we've got to make this film a bit more exciting. Okay, so we're just going to get the generic people come and get killed.
Yes.
You know, there's no they make no impact on the script.
No, they don't.
They just come to get killed because they need some brutal deaths because they don't want to touch the main cast at all in the first half of the film.
Well, actually, though, the thing that was annoying was they did keep touching the main cast. The main cast, Barry Pepper and Kaya, got bit how many times? And they kept walking.
Yes, because whenever it's not no, but it's not spoiling. It's not.
No,
we're just describing little bits that's not actually spoiling. Okay.
Yes.
So yeah, when the alligators are going to get the not main cast.
Yes.
They immediately kill them.
Yeah, straight away.
Right, straight away.
No fights.
But they like to just softly bite the main cast,
and they hold on to them,
yes,
and then they just get a tiny little wound over their elbow. It's like his leg was snapped. He snapped it back into position, and then like half hour later, he's walking through all the rain on it.
Yeah.
She got bit on the leg, and on the shoulder, and on the arm, and at the end, she was able to stand up and hold a flare. Well, we won't talk about what she did at the end.
Yes,
but she was able to do something at the end.
I mean, you should expect them to get bitten if it's an alligator movie.
There was a lot of bites, but no effect of the bites. It was like they were made out of sponge.
Yes.
And also, there were times when the alligator swallowed people whole, and every time they did that, it was the worst CGI ever.
Yeah.
it didn't even look consistent with the alligators in the rest of the film.
No.
But what I kept thinking of is, what can you compare it to? Of recent memory, Meg. It was better than Meg, and I gave Meg a 3. So I had to go higher than that, and it had. I preferred that it focused on a small amount of people, not sprawling.
I can't remember what I gave Meg.
You gave it quite a high rating. I'm sure you gave it.
No, I didn't give it a high rating.
I think you give it 5.
Might have done.
But pathetic was how easily the alligators were able to be contained behind things they really shouldn't be contained behind. People who go and see this film will be surprised.
There's one in the trailer where he puts an alligator behind a shower.
Oh, was that
door.
in the trailer?
It's in the trailer.
That's pathetic. If you tried doing that behind my shower door, like, you could blow and knock my shower door over, mate. Gator's hidden behind it. There's no chance. There's no chance of it.
And another thing that's very poorly done is the decision making in this film. They make some stupid decisions.
Yes.
Where, I mean, there's one part where, in a very stupid situation, someone's dialing 911 in an exposed area. When they they can easily just walk back into a really safe area, but they need to do it right then and there.
Yes. And what about the moment where a character comes from a really flooded outside area, significantly flooded, goes inside to get another character, and then says, "Let's go and get the car," and then comes out and goes, "What the hell? You literally just swam out of that water. You literally swam out of it." What else was an appalling decision?
Well, the decisions coming towards the end when they're trying to realise how they're going to get out of this situation.
Yes.
And it's
they should have done this.
It's like they should do that. We tell them not to do in horror films. They should have done in horror films.
Done in a horror film. It's true.
Which is run upstairs.
It relied on a couple of the bang moments.
Yeah. One of them got me. One of them got me.
One of them got you. I don't know if you noticed the one that got me. The one that got me was very early on. I was ashamed of myself. I was like, "This is 7 minutes in. I'm jumping," and then you got about 40 minutes in.
Yeah.
I would say the script was bad, the acting was bad, the graphics were bad, but by Journey's End, I was like, well, you lifted it a little bit. The ending, if the final 20 minutes didn't happen, it would have been a 5. But even that's generous, and even now that's making me think it's generous. It was, by all accounts, a bad film. It's a low 6.
Listen, I could pull out some really silly scenes that happened, but I don't want to spoil it for anyone.
We can't spoil it for anyone.
But there was many scenes towards the end that's like, come on, you're making some stupid decisions right now.
Yes. And before you went to see this film, if you could say 3 things you were guaranteed to see in an alligator movie, what would they be?
One of them you said. Yes, you said you'd see gator eggs.
You see gator eggs. You will see a croc doing the death roll. It's not a croc, a gator doing the death roll.
There was a couple of death rolls.
I only saw the one.
One was slow motion.
There was a really massive death roll that did nothing. The arm didn't even come off. There was a death roll and the arm stayed intact. And there was what other thing would you say about gators? That you would hear.
That you'd hear a.
Yeah, that growling thing. There was plenty of that. They were doing it for no reason. They were just hidden around the corner making that silly noise.
Somehow gators snuck up on Kaya Scodelario
from front and behind.
Front and behind. She's got her eyes in it, but apparently it can move. This massive crocodile can move without making any noise and get behind her.
There was one time where the gator just put its mouth in front of her and held its mouth open and just made that noise like, I'm just going to hiss around you. Like, why? And also, early on in the film, you're told, right, gators can see you. They're not blind. They can see you. And then later in the film, there's a moment where the gator suddenly becomes blind because 2 people are standing very still. It becomes like a T-Rex.
And do you remember that scene where they said, don't make any splashes?
Yes.
Right? And then, because, but the rain will cover us.
Yes.
Right? The rain stops for 10 seconds and the rain just comes back. Because they wanted to do that 10-second scene where they're like, oh God, the rain stopped.
The rain stopped. Now you've got to splash. Saw him and splash. And also I hated one of them burglars.
Yes.
When she had
burglars?
The burglars.
Oh, burglars.
The thieves.
Yes.
There's one thief
those were
who has terrible hair. Very annoying.
those were just the ones that needed to get killed.
This is very true.
But this was at one other point.
Yes.
She can't swim faster than a gator.
She can't. Nobody can. She didn't win the bloody race at the beginning of the film. How was she going to outrun a gator?
I don't know.
That other girl, if she was in that water somewhere, I guarantee you she was fine.
Yeah.
5 minutes into the film, you don't make a film about her, she was fine.
No.
Now, did you feel at any point very nervous as a dog owner for the dog?
No.
Did you ever feel the dog was in jeopardy?
No, because I find it very hard for people to kill dogs in films.
Doesn't happen
They
often. Jaws
don't.
did
It doesn't happen often. Exactly. You've got to be very brave.
Yes.
And people can turn against your film. If the film's not good enough and you kill a dog, they're not going to like the film.
That's true. They'll turn against you very quickly if that happens. That's true.
Yeah.
Alexandra, he in Hills Have Eyes makes a very big point about the man saving the day with the. He comes back with the baby and the dog. Now, something that was interesting though at the very end of that film was what's her name? Kaya, saying that she had to argue. She was pretty much basically saying that her and Barry Pepper didn't agree on set, and that Barry Pepper felt like he should have been the saviour and the one sort of leading everything in the film. So that's very revealing about him, isn't it? What is that? What do you think of that as a massive Barry Pepper stan, as the young people say nowadays?
I really like Barry Pepper for some reason.
But
now I hate
you didn't like him in this. Yes. You didn't like him in this at all. The 4 points, are they all Pepper points? They are, aren't they?
No.
1 point four?
The 4 points. Okay, so it wasn't really that badly made.
No.
So it gets points for that.
It had its moments.
It
where
was fine
tense.
in some positioning.
That's correct.
And
that's correct. And some points you're wondering, okay, where is the gator?
Yeah.
Because you know it's about, and if it's got you, if you're sat there thinking, I don't care. Like in Meg, I was like, I don't care where the shark is. It's just going to be a big digital effect that appears. There were moments where I was like, okay, is the gator underneath that water, or is it around the corner, or is it not going to come at all? There's one scene in the film in particular where you know the gator's coming, where a character is standing in front of a blank glass window.
Yes.
This is
one of the reasons why I was like, this is an end scene that I was like, come on now, this is silly.
That is silly, yes. Why don't these people?
The window could have just exploded with water.
And it would have in any normal situation. Also, Barry Pepper, in the first place, what was he doing crawling around in his crawl
Silly
space
man.
when the storm was on the way?
Silly man.
The hurricane was on the way. And then...
I hope we haven't spoiled this film.
No, we haven't. And peppered throughout all this action. I didn't even intend to do it like that. See how it works. It's these silly little anecdotes about, I just couldn't leave this house. It's got memories.
They tried to bring a lot of sentiment and family moments in it, but it didn't need to be in there.
Didn't work for me.
No.
Didn't work for you.
No.
But now I feel like my 6 was too generous. I would like to downgrade it, but I can't because it is a 6. Because I still thought maybe it was the setting. Maybe I'm just getting into the spirit of FrightFest. So it was a 5. It was a 5. Yeah. What should I do?
I will allow you to downgrade it if you want to. This is your one chance.
I'm going to stick to my
Otherwise,
guns.
it's going to be a 6.
I'm always a fan of sticking to my guns. It's a 6.
Oh, terrible.
Well, do you know
terrible. Do you remember that time when the gator rolled and she didn't rip her arm off?
I know, you can't spoil that for people. So, that was Crawl. And that is out in cinemas when?
Fuck knows.
Yes, just don't see it. That was Alan from FrightFest's film of the festival. And if we get a chance to talk to him, perhaps we'll ask him just what it was about this film, above all others, that he rated so highly.
So was it Alan who said that this is like what sharks... This is what Jaws did for sharks?
What did he say? It will do for gators what Jaws did for sharks. Crawl will do for gators.
Stupid. It definitely didn't.
But there's no other gator movie. Oh, here, that's what I want to say.
Lake Placid.
That's exactly what I was going to say. So, Lake Placid.
Can't remember it. But it's probably better. Yeah.
But I have to see what I give that on Letterboxd and rank accordingly. Because if I gave, in hindsight, when I go, if I gave Lake Placid a 6 or lower on Letterboxd, I will downgrade this to a 5 because Lake Placid was a better movie than this.
Okay.
So, that was very good.
Yes.
And now, we've got about 5 minutes turnaround before our final film of the night.
Yes.
What's next?
Scary things.
Stories.
Scary stories.
Scary things.
Was it Scary Stories to...
Tell in the Dark?
Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. Is that actually the title?
Yes.
Yes. Scary stories to tell in the dark. You are correct.
Now, what are you expecting from this one?
Okay, I'm expecting to like it more than Crawl.
I don't know. I could or I could dislike it very much. I feel like this could be the most childish one of the night.
Maybe.
I think it'll have moments.
Has got a load of children in it.
It's got a lot of children in it, hasn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah. So it's going to be, you know what it's going to be like? It's going to be like a Goosebumps, 15 rated Goosebumps.
Yeah.
We're going to find out. We only got 5 minutes for a turnaround, so maybe time for another wee, and then we'll go in, and then we'll come out and review crazy things to do in the dark. Silly stories, scary stories. Scary stories to tell in
See
the
what
dark.
FrightFest is making us like? We're hyper.
I know.
This adrenaline.
It's because
we were very tired coming here.
We've just been watching back-to-back fucking movies, and then we're going to go into another one already. We're going to go watch another fucking movie.
And we got to go watch 6.
6 movies.
6 movies on Saturday.
So, we'll end it there.
Yeah.
Very good. See you on the other side where we will review silly things to do when you're drunk.
Right, the mega hits just keep on coming. I'm so glad you enjoyed Crawl. Now you're going to enjoy Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. This director did Troll Hunter in 2010. He couldn't be with us then. Yes, thank you very much. And then we did a special sit-down together for the DVD extra of The Autopsy of Jane Doe. Another fantastic movie. But he's here now with Scary Stories. Please welcome Andre Ovredal. There's no Q&A, obviously, but we're going to just do an extended intro. So essentially, Guillermo had seen Autopsy of Jane Doe and loved it and tweeted about it, and then suddenly this script turns up for Scare, and you had no idea really about it.
Yeah, I mean, he was supposed to direct this film himself, and he was working on it for years, developing the script with the screenwriters. And then suddenly he decided to take basically a year off, which I can promise you he did not have a year off that year. But he didn't want to direct the movie in the end. And then he asked me, which was, I got the script with his name on it, on my email. And it was such a wonderful title and a great script. Just such a fun, wonderful horror adventure.
Did you even read it before you said yes?
Technically, yes, but mentally, no. It was an easy yes. Yeah.
Now, I mean, like you and like most of us in the UK, I mean, I'm not familiar with the stories at all, but they're a big deal in America. So, somebody knows them.
Oh, that's great.
So, I mean, had you any idea what the classic? How classic they were to American audiences?
No, I mean, when I received the script, I decided, obviously, I had to read the stories, and I read about it, and I realized that it's a huge deal. Every kid in America grows up reading these books. Hey, I think I see some people I know up there. And it was just such a wonderful gateway into horror for kids. And that's kind of what we wanted to make as well. We had to age it up a little bit. We had to age it up to basically, like young teens. So it became 15 here in the UK and PG-13 in the US. And I think that's a very appropriate age. But we also decided to make it and have an adult, part of it. The themes are quite adult. It's themes of loss. It's themes of loss of innocence for America that year, 1968, when it's set. And the Vietnam War is raging, and you'll feel that in the background of the movie. And there's we were really trying to get a blend of young, fun attitude and then an adult, thematic, serious movie.
Did you go back to the book and find out visually what the creatures were? I mean, how do they veer from what was on the page? I mean, if at all.
Yeah, no, I mean, the creatures are as famous as the stories in America because if you haven't looked them up, and if you haven't seen them, you should really look them up. They're absolutely unbelievable. And these drawings are just astounding. The creature design and the thought process is just so beautiful. And we were really trying to give life to these characters on screen. And my first attitude was, we got to put these exact characters as they're drawn in the movie. And then we had to find just the best people in the world. And we worked with the designers that Guillermo had worked with on basically all his movies. Including Shape of Water. And we also did basically the same thing. It's all
these are all creatures on the set with us, you know, in the way we do it. And we did some digital augmentations here and there, like facial expressions, blinking of eyes, and this and that. But essentially, it's all real stuff, which was wonderful to do.
Was Guillermo, how hands-on was he? Okay, he handed it over to you, but what did he say to you? I mean, I'm going to be looking over your shoulder. What did he do?
No, I mean, he really, as soon as we sat down together, he said, you're going to get to make your own movie. I don't want to impair your vision whatsoever. Because he's a visionary director. He's like an amazing artist to work for. So for him to say that was a big deal to me, because I was a little bit daunted by this task. And he really let me do my own movie. But the things he were very involved with was obviously the script, because he had developed it for himself to direct. Additionally, the creatures, of course, we all know how much he loves telling stories through creatures, and he was very hands-on with that. And as I was prepping, we shot the film in Toronto, and as I was prepping, for example, he would fly to Los Angeles to work with the creature designers on just figuring out every single little detail, and we would be on the phone and sending pictures back and forth and discussing. And he would be, as he said himself, the most expensive creature supervisor in the world.
I mean, there's plenty of stories to choose from. So, I mean, it's been a massive hit in America, this. So, I mean, you expecting a sequel to come out of this?
I mean, yeah, I mean, we're kind of hoping for, obviously there's 100 stories in these 3 books, so if the audience embraces the film, we can do it. But it's always dependent on money, and now, thankfully, the American audience has embraced the movie. So then we are already, you know, a couple of weeks into it, discussing what could possibly be a sequel.
Fantastic. Well, listen, I know you're going to enjoy it. Thank you so much, André Obrador.
Right, guys, we just came out of Scary Stories.
Scary Stories?
Silly
things
It is like
to
half
do
one. It's
when
half
you're
one in the
alive.
morning right now. We're pretty tired.
That's been a full-on, like what, 6 hours?
Yeah, 6 hours.
That we've just gone through. And
we've got to do half that again. I mean, not half that again, we've got to do double that.
On Saturday.
On Saturday. It's going to be fun.
It's going to be very fun. This
Yes.
is us now just traipsing through Leicester Square, having come out of there.
You can hear the hustle and bustle of London.
You can hear the shouting and crouching and bouncing.
Yes.
We're currently walking past where I came to see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood a few weeks ago.
Odeon.
At the Odeon Lux, where you pay £200,000 for a seat.
Yes. Lovely.
And so,
let's talk about scary stories.
Silly things to do when you're in Denver, when you're in debt.
At midnight.
Yes. So, first things first
is the plot. What is the plot of this film?
The plot of this film is based on some books, and it's a bunch of kids in the 60s who, while getting chased by a jock, run into an old, famously haunted house. And while there, the young girl, our protagonist in the film, picks up this book, but it's inhibited by the spirit of a woman/girl who was chastised and ostracized, and she's being vengeful in the story she's writing.
Yes, very vengeful.
And she writes stories, and each story
Scary
she tells
stories.
kills them. Silly stories to kill when you're a Blue Panther. So that's the plot.
This film.
First and foremost, shall I give my score?
Go for it.
You want me to give my score?
Yeah.
It's one of the scores you've given tonight.
Okay.
It's a very, very most definite 4 out of 10.
Oh, really?
Yes, really.
Okay, I'll just give it a 7.
What?
I thought it was fine.
You give that the
Yeah.
same score as Come to Daddy?
No, I gave it
that
8.
an 8. A 7?
Yeah.
Oh,
I thought,
mate.
I thought it did its job. It was fine.
No. Oh,
it had some.
okay.
It had some. All right, little months in it. All right, little scares.
It did not. Quickly run or you get hit.
We're just running across the road.
Running across the road.
It's a low
Wow.
7. It's a low 7. It's not a high set. It's not like it would nowhere near an 8. It's on the borderline, but it's a 7.
What'd you like in it?
I thought it was a little bit creepy.
What was it? Well, the creepy bits So the only reason it gets any points from me is because of all the visual spectacular with the ghouls and the creatures.
Yeah,
that's the point.
I mean, he spoke about how it's very practical most of the time, but I didn't feel like
it didn't look like it's practical, did it? It looked very CGI, but creepy.
Yeah.
Particularly, actually, the fat, white, bloated corpse-like woman.
That was very like
when she was pinning him
CGI.
in.
It looks a bit animatronic as well.
Animatronics. That was very creepy.
Yeah.
And there was lots of good the creatures were creepy, but mate, every single time they left the screen, I wanted to pull my teeth out because I was literally obviously it's a late night screen. I was so bored because I didn't care about them. I didn't care about anyone. Sorry, I don't mean that. That's not the good point. It's like I didn't feel the characters were written. Do you know what it is? And it may sound bad to say this, right?
Yeah.
But what you've got is a foreign director, because he's Norwegian, right? Oh no, the street sweepers going by us. It may fuck with our mics. Let's wait for the street sweepers to walk past. You got a Norwegian director who is working with original American source material and then interpreting it and putting it up on screen. And I feel like dialogue was too blatant and on the nose, and people don't talk like that. Kids don't talk like that.
I agree with that.
And also, the kids who were talking like that were very, very, very silly. It was like it was a kids' show, but then there was some gruesome shit for adults.
Yeah.
But it's like, who are you playing to then? Because you can't play that to kids.
I totally understand. I totally get where you're going.
I didn't care. I didn't really care for it. I really didn't like it.
I just literally thought it was just fine. Just fine. That's all. I have nothing else really to like. I won't big it up. I'm not going to beat it up. I'm not going to like slam it. It's just like it was fine.
It's a shame because it's from the director of the Troll Hunter.
When it started, I was like, oh, this might be something.
First few minutes I thought it could be something.
Yeah.
Because of all the movie stuff and like the songs and everything, I thought, this could be something.
But
and
at
then
no
it turned
point,
into nothing.
at no point though, did I think, okay, this could be an 8 or a 9 or a 10. It was always, I had hope, but it never went above a 7.
It was always awful for me. It rode on a 3, and the only thing that brought it up to the 4 was when the bloated white mass came out and the weird monster where its head and arms and all that came together.
Like it was still something more to see than Crawl.
I enjoyed Crawl more. Crawl,
they were just sitting in a basement.
Yeah, I know, but there was at least movement, and you knew what the threat was. It was just the alligators, like, move away from the alligator. Simple concept. This, too much, like writing new stories, and everyone was going to die, and it's like, but they're just kids, and I knew that there was never really going to be anything significant, any damage.
You didn't know what threat was coming. So you're saying you knew what threat there was.
You knew that there was going to be...
you didn't know what threat that was coming.
That's right.
Where it was just going to be an alligator.
Yes.
In Crawl.
True, but then exactly. So that's why the only reason that this gets the points is because when those things turned up, it was like, oh, this is cool and original. But it took 20 minutes for each one of those cool scenarios to turn up.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that.
And the little girl, she wasn't annoying, but she was written very badly. Little girl.
Yeah, she was the most obvious storyline.
Yes.
Like,
and
Ramon, not original.
Ramon was a stupid character.
Yeah.
And so were the two wise ass friends. You know, the ones that were like making comedy jokes and all that.
There's always
There's always the
comic relief. That guy's the comic relief.
That's right.
There's always the reserved one.
But you know what? It's Stranger Things for the 60s, but nowhere near as good.
Yeah.
It was Stranger Things for the 60s. That's what it was. And Stranger Things does it better, dealing with kids and kid relationships in an adult scary situation. Whereas
100%.
this was just a kids like CITV type show, then mixed with a few Guillermo del Toro scary bits.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was very good.
What a shame. Come to Daddy was the film.
Come to Daddy was the highlight. Could it be a highlight of our fest?
I hope there's something better.
I hope there is. I think there will be on Saturday.
Yeah.
So that's the end of our FrightFest Day 1. What are you going to do now? You go home, sleep?
Yes, I think it's time to sleep.
I'm going to go home.
We've got a nice day at work tomorrow.
We have. Yes, I'll be working from home.
Yes,
I'll need to sleep.
We have a lovely day on Saturday watching 6 films.
What are we seeing Saturday? So we got lined up Mary first, then Ghost Killers versus Bloody Mary, extracurricular, Critters Attack, Happy Face, Feedback, and the final one, we don't know what it is.
Can't remember. Because it is 7, because we've actually already watched Feedback.
We've already watched
but
Feedback.
But we're not allowed to talk about it until
What's the last one in the main screen on
Saturday?
Saturday? We don't know.
I can't remember, but it's going to be a surprise for everyone listening.
It's going to be a surprise for us and for everyone listening, and I look forward to sharing that surprise with them. So, everyone, I hope you enjoyed listening to our. I've got such an itchy ankle, it's going mad. I hope you enjoyed listening to our FrightFest coverage tonight.
Yes, we very much enjoyed our day today.
We had a lot of fun, and hopefully we'll publish this, and some people might even listen to it on their way into FrightFest on Saturday morning.
That'd be nice.
On the train, if it's
Yeah.
publishing time, and if it is, then come up and say hello.
And you might be involved in the podcast.
You might be involved in the podcast. Look out for us. We have 2 very, very small, subtle. You have to see it. We've got 2 very small, black clipped radio mics on our shirts. Very small. We're not obvious like everyone else. We don't go
have
over
a big,
the top.
We don't have a
Not
big boom
showy.
mic and a
No.
massive light attached to our heads.
Overcompensating. We just keep it low key. You come and see us if you want to get down.
Right, guys. I guess we'll see you Saturday.
I'll see you Saturday. I'll see you Saturday.
Yes.
Bye.